LGBTQ plus. You know what? I miss penis. I'm the one who should apologize.
Shut the fuck up, asswipe, and suck my cock.
WATP. WATP. Boom. What a dick. We were laughing our asses off. It's a bizarre thing. Me, Robin Rzinski, Scott the Pace, Doug Gassine, we're laughing our asses off. We laughed our asses off. I laughed my ass off. I don't lie. I don't like to lie. That's me laughing at you fucking losers. You gotta love Vinnie Carlino. I love a parade.
Is John the stupidest guy in the world?
Is this guy a freaking moron or what? In class. Everyone say hi to Miss Meany. I'll call you back.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Dabble Point. A Stuttering John Melendez roundtable discussion.
Welcome to Point Dabble Point, a weekly discussion where we get caught up on this week in Stuttering John, come running back to Cameo and lie about getting laid. I'm Karl Hamburger from Who Are These Podcasts, and with me this week, as always, from the world-famous Uncle Rico show, Shuli Agar is here.
Hi, how are you, everybody? Thanks for having me.
I am fantastic. Also, you know him from this show, Point Dabble Point. Earl David Reed is here.
Yeah, and guess what? Everybody's got their glasses on, so I guess I got to put my glasses on too. So,
well, I mean, if Hughezy was drinking himself to death, would you do that too?
Probably not.
From Hughezy Entertainment on YouTube, Kevin Brennan is here. What's up, KB?
What's up, everybody? And a $200 donation that Karl gets to keep to kick me off.
Perfect. Thank you for being here, Hughezy. Good to see you, man. I've been trying to get you on this show for months, I think. We finally made it happen.
Yeah. Well, it was. I went through my annual alcoholic binge through Christmas, and now I'm dealing with gout. In fact, $50 donation, and Karl will show my gout foot photograph on the show. It is disgusting, but it's also hilarious.
I have multiple angles of it too, so if you guys want to see the top, the side, whatever it is, we got it for you. I want to remind everyone that you can support and participate in the show using the Super Tip system, supertip.gg/WATP. Go there on a different device, in a different browser, somehow, some way, get there. And then you can give us an anonymous tip. You can come in as yourself, and we'll either read your super tip, or you can have an AI voice read it for you, which adds to the hilarity of Point Dabble Point, the greatest show on
One
YouTube.
thing's guaranteed: it will interrupt the flow of whatever we're talking about.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact Shuli doesn't like things that interrupt the flow of the show, but he's going to put up with it since he's on my channel today.
Under
allow that.
protest. Under protest.
Allow that to happen. Now, I don't want to keep our special guest waiting too long because we all have a lot of questions, and I was very excited that he reached out to me, sent me an email, gave me some information. I read about it on WATP. I know you guys covered it on Uncle Rico last night. It's in Dabblers Anonymous, but none other than Ricky Melton.
Come on. Let's go.
Ricky Melton. He sees that Stuttering John's gig, his charity gig, that John was all proud of. He's promoting it on his way out of the Dabbleverse. He's like, I'm a working comic again. I got a gig, and I'm helping out the police here in Cape Coral. And lo and behold, all the trolls out there and the haters and the twidiots had to go and get John canceled from his charity gig. So John didn't have anything to do with his one-man show that he's been working on. And that's where Ricky Melton stepped up and said, I got a gig coming up at If I Brewed the World. And I bet we could get John on here to not only boost sales, but also just add to the spectacular evening of comedy. And he joins us, guys. Ricky Melton is here. What's up, Ricky?
Hey, everybody. Happy
Ricky.
President's Day.
Dude.
Oh, man.
Thank
Nice
you
to
so
meet
much
you.
for joining us. We appreciate you. We appreciate you helping out Stuttering John in his time of need.
The intro, you really made me seem like a hero, and I think you're right. I think I am.
Yes,
In this
I
world,
agree.
in this world, you are, Ricky.
Absolutely.
All right, so you actually sent me over the photo of what this looked like, because the thing that you were most upset about is that we said there were 11 people there, and you said, no.
I'm not some loser that can only draw 11 people.
Okay.
I
So
got
this-
43 people.
Yeah,
Hey.
this is the photo. We haven't seen this one with everybody in their seats. Now, this is while John's performing. According to you, a lot of those people left while John was performing, and so it wasn't as crowded once you went up on stage.
Yeah, there was a bunch of mishaps before I got up there. It was probably the worst gig I've ever had in my life. It was up there with it.
Well, the guy knows how to set that table for you, huh?
Yeah,
I'm not,
yeah, he
I'm
does.
not just blaming him. It was the venue too, but the cities didn't help.
I'm
I
going
have
to
a
predict
question.
that it wasn't the venue that ruined the gig.
Well, wait, I have a question. I'm wondering, like you say, it's like the gig too, but now did they promote or did they know you were going to be there? Because usually when you're in a restaurant setting like that, they don't let anybody else in other than the people that are going to see the show.
So this was out back. It was like a little backyard, and
Okay.
I had access to that, but it was on me to promote it. I was supposed to be provided like a doorman and a crew and a stage that people didn't fall through and chairs that would actually hold people. That didn't happen. I had to work the door too.
Oh, jeez.
Very hard to do when you're trying to convince people you're a headliner.
Yeah.
A big deal.
Right.
Hey, get the door guy off the stage. Let's see the comics.
But that's actually a good sign for John, because most of the venues he performs at don't even have doors.
He helped me work the door too. He wouldn't leave my side. It was great.
Okay. All right, so
I thought it said core.
I want to start from the beginning. Obviously, you reached out to him. You said, hey, John, if you wanted to come and do a guest spot. Now, this is pretty far from his home. It's a couple-hour drive, and he ended up like spending the night before, I think.
Well,
it was the
from
story
what-
he told.
From what he told me, he stayed in Fort Lauderdale. He was shagging some lady down there, and he came up just for the show. So I don't know if that's
Fort Lauderdale, that would be further from St. Petersburg, right? A lot farther.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I
That's the
reached-
thing. That's the thing about John. All he wants to do is make the guys laugh and the ladies squeal. I totally believe that happened.
Well, the only reason I believe it is because he's dumb enough and is starving for pussy that he would drive past the gig to get laid, then double back to go to the gig.
But do you think there's actually anyone that finds him? He's like internationally appealing. I can't imagine anyone just wanting to hook up with him, despite what his resume may say.
Good question.
EDR, your audio is not good. It's coming in and out. Can you I don't know if you have another signal you can get on with your phone.
Let me try that. Let me go out. Let me go out. Let me try to come back.
Okay.
Go out and come back in.
Yeah.
EDR told us before the show that there's a huge windstorm where he lives and his power's out, so he's trying to do this and make it work. But yeah,
I'm a fairly decent looking guy. I like to think I'm in a happy relationship. I would drive to Fort Lauderdale right now to get laid, and I live in Cleveland, Ohio. So we're gonna get John the benefit on that.
Okay, so you reached out to John. You told him you get a gig for him, and how did you get in touch with him? Just like through a Twitter DM? How did you reach out?
Facebook Messenger. That's all I really use. I thought he would be Cape Coral, which I Googled. It's, a couple 2 hours away. So I didn't think he would even read it, let alone respond, let alone actually agree to coming, but he was nice enough to do so.
Did you offer him a certain amount of money to do it?
I did. We negotiated a little bit.
Okay.
I'm not going to get into the numbers.
You don't have to.
That's not
I understand.
right.
I understand. Obviously, it didn't pay out because, as you mentioned in your note to me, only one person bought a ticket because John's added to the show.
Yeah, but I enjoyed myself, so I've spent worse. I've spent more money like at a casino or something, just put it in a slot machine. So I have no regrets.
Oh, no, you definitely did the right thing, my friend, for sure. Okay, so day of the show, you are at the venue. You're there early. The show starts at 8, and John messages you that he's at the venue also. How does this guy end up at the wrong venue? How does that happen?
Yeah. At about 7:15, I answer the phone. He goes, "Where are you?" I don't do impressions. I'm sorry, but he goes, "Where are you?" I go, "I'm at the venue. Where are you?" He said, "I'm here." And it's a very small place and nobody was there yet. So I walked through it all. Only the bartenders were there. And I go, you're definitely not here. He goes, I'm at, I think his place was called Sisters or something. I'm at Sisters. I said, I've never heard of that in my life. It's the venue's called If I Brewed the World. And he goes, are you trolling me? Which would have been funny to do to make him drive all that way, but sure. I don't have that kind of mean spirit. So anyhow, I'm not familiar with the area at all. It was my first time ever in St. Petersburg. So I go talk to the bartenders and find out there's a place called Three Sisters or whatever it's called. That's down the street, maybe a quarter mile or so. So I walked down there and had to walk him back.
It's wild to me that forget about doing stand-up regularly, just going somewhere in this day and age. It's so simple. All you have to do is you don't even need the address. Just type the name of the place in Google Maps and Waze and whatever you have, and it will take you right to the door. It again circles back to just how lazy this guy really is, because something so simple, it takes 5 seconds. And he won't even do it.
And he immediately wants to blame Ricky. Are you trolling me? It's no.
But Shuli, there's also a misguided confidence. I agree with you on the lazy part of it, but it's really stupid to not know how to punch the name of a venue into your GPS and get there.
Do you think you just put in St. Petersburg Brewery?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that would make sense. But the misguided confidence for the guy to then accuse you of being the asshole. My first thought whenever I'm somewhere and no one else is there, I was like, oh shit, I must have fucked up. What did I do wrong? Go back, check my messages, retrace my steps. John's first thought is, fuck you, you're trolling me.
Well, he does always accuse people of trolling him, but in fairness to him, I did go through a list of about 20 different ways I could troll him leading up to the show. I didn't do it, but my mind did go there.
So he knew you were thinking about it. Well, Here's a question I got on our Patreon when I announced that you were going to be on the show today. So this guy was interested to know if John was already drunk when you went over and found him at the other bar.
I don't know that he was drunk, but he smelled like he might have been.
It's a long drive.
He had a few beers there, and it was funny too because everybody showed up. I was kind of panicking too. Everybody showed up at the last second, patrons. So he was offering to go back to Three Sisters because he said he was drinking over there and there was some hot chicks. He was going to go try to recruit people to come to the show.
It's as if your show was in the way of what he wanted to do that night. And the fact that, okay, you get to the gig, you're at the wrong venue. Instead of, if it's me, right? I'm panicking. I'm like, fuck, where am I? I got to be at this show. I've been hired to do a job. I got to get. What does this guy do? Order a couple beers. I'm gonna hang out. I'm gonna hang out and wait and see where the chips
Start talking to the ladies a little bit.
Wow.
And Ricky, any of the times you were speaking to Mr. Melendez, did he ever say, just do it and wait for you to laugh?
No, that never happened.
Okay.
Oh,
Can I ask real quick? How soon does he explain to you the Dabbleverse trolls and him being attacked upon meeting him?
Well, I told him from the get-go that I was very much a big fan of the Dabbleverse. So,
Really?
yeah, the big topic at that time, you're talking like a month ago. The big topic of the time was not you, not Carla. It was
Chad.
It was Chad.
Yeah.
Chadley.
I heard a lot about Chad, and this is kind of funny. So I'm from the Cleveland, Ohio area, and I've known of Chad for a long time. I've never really hung out with him. I think I met him once or twice. But it's a long story, but I tried doing a podcast back in the day. I think I might have been the first ever podcast.
I'm sure it was. I'm sure it predated them all.
You and Bobby Kelly.
It had a concept to like a very specific concept. It was called Week in History, like WEAK. So I picked a random week from history. The idea was to have on a guest, in this case, Chad, where I would talk about that week, what he was up to in his life during that time, and like pop culture stuff going on. Well, that was the idea. Went horribly wrong.
Let me guess, it turned into drunken history when Chad showed up.
No, he just kind of, if you ever seen that interview he did with that corn biff guy, he just kind of had that attitude. He came in, he didn't, even though I explained the concept, he like didn't play along with it, kind of big time me. But so anyhow,
I could picture that actually. Yeah, that story checks out.
bad temper. I get, I say some things on the phone. So we get in a little phone fight. So Jim Florentine's performing at a club in town here called the Funny Stop. And I went up there and I met Jim and I met Chad. And I told Chad, hey, I'm the guy who da-da-da. And we hashed it out. He was very pleasant with me. He didn't apologize, but he was just cool with me. I was cool with him. And I haven't had a problem with him ever since. So I kind of told John that's all I knew of Chad. That's the only interaction I ever had with him, in person.
Oh, but just the fact that you knew Chad Zumock was perfect for him.
It
because then he could tell you what an asshole he is and make you take sides so that you're on side John.
Somebody in the chat's asking if you know Ray DeVito, since you're from the Ohio area.
Yeah, they're like a little bit older than me, so I don't know them.
Ah, Ray, you old fuck.
But
he's a lot of bit older than you, Ricky.
His take on it was, of course he backed down to you in person because he's like a pussy. That's why. And I was like, no, I think he was just being like a friendly. And he just started telling everybody around there that Chad backed down to me because he's a pussy when he's confronted.
And people don't know Chad, and it's like they don't know the story. It's just, man.
I'm sure we'll get to that, but that was, to me, the funniest part was there, kind of knew who John was, but I didn't really advertise him being there other than the week. I think I booked him the week of.
Right.
So
did he show you any Kate Meany photographs?
No, he didn't. And I actually didn't know that she recorded this conversation. I think that might have just happened. He just found out the day before or something too.
Yeah, it's pretty
good times. Good times.
All right, let me get caught up real quick. I appreciate people using supertip.gg/WATP. We'll get back to this conversation with Ricky Melton for just joining us. Ricky Melton hired Stuttering John for his most recent stand-up gig that we've all heard. And he's going to tell us the tale of what went down. But first, Anonymous.
As you know, I had a mole at the Shuli network. I also stopped mentioning it after Iso was arrested. How do you think I got pictures of Shuli's kids? Hashtag John knew.
Listen, that's anonymous. I got nothing to do with that, but we should hear it out.
Yeah, right?
Just like I told that pig, anytime, any place, Jar, rent a cab.
That's right, brother. Don't forget to purchase your trifold, the A-cab.
Very good. Thank you for coming in with Delete Laws.
Hughezy, you disgusting Mick. Your only redeeming quality is you like Springsteen. You can give Mrs. C an Irish cornhole to the song I'm on Fire anytime.
That's because the song's only 2 minutes long. But okay.
Still nice of him to offer.
Yeah.
Zach Hoffman, I have some of his super chats on clips of John's last show if we get around to it today that I want to play. So John drank 20 beers in a 2-hour span. Did you witness the glorious sad event? Also, does he just straight chug or in like 2 gulps down skull?
I have a follow-up to this. Go ahead, Ricky.
Well, I might have exaggerated with 20 beers. I don't go on that Reddit very often, which, by the way, I'm not cut out for it because people said I looked fruity. And they ruined that.
Welcome to my world.
Hey, that's one of the best compliments you can get in the Dabbleverse.
But, so somebody said they started doing the math about how that would be physically impossible. So it might not have been 20, but it was a lot of beers.
Yeah. No one thought that you were sitting there and counting and then scribbling down in your notepad.
Well, also, everybody's sure it's over 6 or 7. It's in double digits. He left the house,
I should have been counting because I was starting to panic a little bit because I offered to pay for them up front, and then he just kept getting them. And I'm like, oh, man, breweries charge more for beers. So,
yep.
Like, I didn't make a lot of money off this gig.
Now, here's a question regarding the drinking. Were the beers on the house?
I got tickets to give out to everybody, but I didn't give them to the ladies because the one didn't drink and the other one I didn't like. So,
the fat one you didn't like?
Well, they were both behemoths, as Stuttering
as John would say. So now, how many tickets do you give John? Do you know?
I tried to give him. He wouldn't take them.
Really?
That's where I'll have to say I was pleasantly surprised that he said, "You're paying me and you treated me good, and I'm going to pay for my own beers. Don't worry about it."
So I would imagine he's not drinking Coors Lights if he's at a brewery, right?
They didn't have them, and that's where I drink. And I always panic when I go to a brewery.
Because it's probably like more alcohol content in these, a higher ABV.
Why does my beer have aloe in it? Stupid shit.
They had PBR though for some reason, so he drank that.
Oh, he was drinking PBRs. That's so insulting. That's such an insulting thing to do in a brewery. That's all. All right. Barnes and Noobs, $5 says, I have nothing to say this week. Anyway, a great show, guys. Well, thanks, Barnes and Noobs. You have plenty to say all the time. We appreciate you participating in the show.
Killer on Dabbleverse.
He's the best.
Love it.
Kenny Curvecock, $5 says, can you ask Steve Urkel to give us his famous line, did I do that? If he gets back on. He hasn't come back on yet. He's working on his
the wind got him,
Stewie Felt, super tip is what Earl calls his caulk. I believe that. Shit show, Hughezy is ire-tarded.
Good one.
Guillermo, handyman to the starts, $5 says, how did you get John's stepfather to join today's panel? That's not who that is. Tony Everready says, can you ask Steve Urkel if he really believes that ESO was VTL's mole? I don't think Urkel's going to know anything about that.
Yeah.
Paula Dazzo. Hi, guys. Hey, I bet John bought new litter boxes and had a cleaning lady come before Osa got there, right? Oh, there is a theory about where Osa has been staying with John. That's why he hasn't been podcasting from the house or cameos or anything else.
Well, because Karl, in the past, whenever he's quit, he's had a flight somewhere. Yep. And then he pops back up. So he quits because his schedule has to change.
Right.
So that's the only thing that I'm like, interesting. He's not broadcasting from home.
Yep.
Everything's changed.
He's been posting stuff on Facebook about how he hates Donald Trump or something. Every morning, 7 o'clock or so.
I saw someone, because I don't follow him on Facebook, but someone posted in Dabbleverse Anonymous a screenshot of it, and he goes, "All I do is post truthful memes." It's like, what do you think a truthful meme is, you idiots? Pat Shannon with £2 says, Ricky, did you get combat pay? That's a good question. You were in the trenches, my friend.
Oh, I see. No, I ended up losing money on the deal.
Was any staff complaining about tipping wise? Did he tip well, you think?
Now, there was one bartender in training. I don't know if he tipped or not. I should have asked that.
So
good.
You had mentioned to me that his set wasn't as good as it could have been because he had been drinking so heavily. And I think Shuli was thinking maybe it's nerves. John hasn't done stand-up in a long time, and he's probably nervous about doing that. but I imagine he was pretty well loaded by the time he left the establishment. Correct?
Yeah, he was. And I was telling you that I've worked with all the greats like Dustin Diamond, Screech from TV, Saved by the Bell.
Right.
They, these old timers that come through, they have these kind of stock hacky jokes but people really do enjoy it. And I think John could be in that category if he would stay straight, just for a,
well, he's trying to get Skull to be like JJ Walker's Dynamite. Like he's trying to get those catchphrases so he can do the nostalgia circuit. Skull.
Oh, it's I've fallen and I can't get up.
But I gotta be honest, Karl, those clips you played of SJ's stand-up show, I think it was on last week's episode of WATP.
Yeah,
it was so unfunny that it was hilarious.
It was, but I'm telling you.
Oh, fuck off.
They're not groundbreaking jokes, but I'm telling you that people, when they go out, not everybody is like a huge comedy fan. They're just looking to go out and have a couple beers and some laughs. And if they see somebody they kind of know who's telling old jokes, like they're going to have a great time. But when you get belligerent and your timing's off, that's what ruins it. If you could keep him sober and do that same act, I guarantee he could make a career doing like Screech did for all those years. And
can I ask a technical question now? When he's when he's going to do this show, do you tell him how much time you want him to do, and what was that time? If you told him?
I told him. Well, okay, so I kind of told Karl this, that I told him I hired him last minute because ticket sales were low for whatever reason. I promoted it the same way I do every other show, but nobody was buying tickets to this one. And I thought maybe that would give it a spark, but it really didn't. But I also was thinking that if people really did call the venue and get it canceled, that would just get me out of driving down there.
Smart.
But
it's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
So I told him, I was like, I don't know, you could do like a half hour or like 30 seconds. I don't care either way.
Holy shit. You were going to let him torture people for 30 minutes at your show?
Well, I just said he could do whatever he wanted. Basically.
Yeah.
It's funny. He's like, well, I could do 90 minutes, up to 90 minutes. And I was like, whoa, I don't want you to do that,
Hold on a second. I don't think that's true.
Bullshit.
Yeah, Alex Jones agrees with me. John, I think 90 minutes.
He could do. Wait, hold on. Does he have 90 minutes? No. Can he do 90 minutes?
No, he can't.
He could do something in 90 minutes.
He told me he could do 90 minutes, and I said, we'll figure it out when we get there. When we get there, I go, can you do 15? And he goes, how about 10?
So you called his bluff. That's hilarious. Oh, I'm a pro. I'm a headliner. I can do 90 minutes. Can you do 15? No.
He Shulied you down from 15 to 10. That's impressive.
How much of his act did he do when you first met him in that bar?
No, nothing like that. Well, he was just going. It was like It was like a live podcast, is what it was.
I was going to say, when you said he could do 90 minutes, Shuli, he wouldn't be able to do 90 minutes on his podcast if he didn't have the chat to respond to. Like, he needs people talking to him.
Karl, what a glorious 90 minutes.
I'm all for it. I'm just saying he can't do it.
So, at any point, does he talk to you before he goes up or after? Does he start painting the picture for you of his one-man show he's been working on?
Yeah.
No, I tried to ask him a few questions, but we were getting interrupted because we were working the door, and it was funny because one guy was telling me he's like, yeah, I tried doing stand-up 10 years ago because I had a stuttering problem, and like my therapist told me that might be like a good exercise. So I'm like, hey, have you ever heard of Stuttering John? He says, yeah, and I point to him, and he's like, oh, and he was so excited to meet him, and then John was just like, can you believe this shit that's going on today with Chad?
This is John Shit. He loves curing people of their stutter. He loves
this. Could have been the next Conrad Arnold.
Right. He tells that story all the time. Here he had an opportunity. Take this guy under his wing, and he just wanted to bitch about Chad.
Well, I tried to talk to him about that. I tried talking to him about his family was okay because all those fires were going on out in L.A. at the time.
Right.
And he looked at me like I had two heads.
Yeah.
He said, what do you mean? I said, the fires and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, he told me where all his kids are going to college and stuff. So he said they're not there. And I'm like, I just, when I say family, I meant your ex-wife, your friends, all that stuff. But I don't think he knew about the fires, to be honest.
Wow. I bet you're right about that. I bet he has no clue what's going on. What a crazy reaction.
Are you trolling me?
Yeah, what a
Palisades
crazy
is on
reaction.
fire?
Is my family okay? What? It's like, yeah, thousands of houses burned down, John.
Don't trash my family.
Yeah. I hope my daughter's penis doesn't get burned.
I knew he had to go there. Somebody asked, did John have to work the door with you as well?
He did not have to, but there was no backstage area, so he just kind of was standing there talking to me and
where did he have sex with all the groupies?
He loves getting recognized. I bet he was hoping to get recognized. Maybe said a few things to people as they were coming in to see if they would figure out who he was.
That never goes well when you have to end the sentence with "from the Tonight Show." And
yeah,
you picture him with his back to the bar and his arms out, just kind of leaning back, waiting for people to spot him.
Well, I heard about in AC last year during the Super Bowl weekend, the MLC Super Bowl weekend, John would just like wander around the bar waiting to get recognized.
Yeah.
Just waiting for someone to be like, hey, Stuttering John. Then he'd like saddle up next to them and try to get a beer or two.
Well, that's what the recognition equals is getting a free beer out of somebody, Can
I just play this real quick? Because now that we have the image of the actual show, we saw the photo before the show started. But this is the image of the show. These are all the people who are there. And you can see there's John performing stand-up. This is just a 6-second clip that I pulled from his stand-up. Gives you a feel for the audience reaction to his jokes.
I'm thinking I'd be lucky to get that on Christmas.
So, I'm trying to figure out which of the two people who laughed were. Like maybe this person over here, that one back there.
Hold on, I had to play this after that.
We begin bombing in 5 minutes.
There we go. All right.
Now, this is where I have to counterpoint.
Please.
Now, this was my first time doing comedy outside. I don't know about you, if you've ever done that, Shuli.
Yes, I have.
Not
to brag, but yes, I've been outdoors numerous times.
It was definitely different because when I was on stage, I thought I did pretty well. I was like, everybody's engaged. The 20 people that were left were engaged. They were laughing, smiling. But when I listened back to my tape, because I tape every set, like you couldn't really hear it. It was just kind of evaporating in the air. Mm-hmm. Not saying he killed by any means, but I don't know if he bombed as bad as it sounds.
The only thing I'll say, the only thing I'll say, Ricky, and you're definitely right about that. Outdoors, it's not capturing, you're not getting the ricochet. But we were listening to Adam Bush and I were listening to on WATP, and I played the beginning of his set to show you that people wanted to like him. He was getting a response. You could hear the audience laughing, participating, and then by mid-set to the end, people were just like, "Get this fucking guy off the stage. It's gross."
You're right, and the guy whoever recorded the show, he had a better, I guess, position with his phone or whatever he was recording.
That's true. Yeah. He was actually in the crowd.
Mine was in the very back.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you about the guy who recorded the show because rumor has it was the one ticket sale made.
That's my assumption.
Yeah.
He's also a hero, by the way. Let's get him on the show.
When the audio comes out, does John call you and demand you help him find who this person is?
He called me. I was on the way back. I had a show the next night in Daytona, which sold out, by the way.
Congrats.
80.
Guys, go see Ricky Melton.
Yeah.
It's a great comic.
That's why you do the backyard shows, is you got to get the bad shit out of the way and then the good shit. It's all worth it after that,
So I'm driving back to Cleveland from Daytona, and my phone rings somewhere in Georgia. It's John accusing me of recording a set.
I didn't even ask a question. He just comes in guns a-blazing, of course.
Which really did kind of piss me off because I had all these, I said I had all these ideas for trolling. I was like, I should definitely record it. And I was like, Karl, I bet he would be willing to like put a word in for me at that comedy club up there. I was going to use it to barter.
Right. Smart.
But but he asked me not to record, and that's where I'm not smart because I was like, okay, I didn't want to betray him.
It's better that you don't. If you're putting on shows and you're running shows that you're getting other comics to work with, you don't want to be known as the guy who. And plus, there's plenty of other people that want to tape his shit. You don't have to.
Ricky, was there many of the people there that tried to get photographs taken with Mr. Melendez?
There was a few, who got pictures of him.
So
I want to real quick. I'll get back to this, and then we'll move on with the show and everything like that. But so he drank a bunch of beers while he was there. He was drinking beers at the place before that. Does he get in his car and drive wherever he was going after that?
Well, I told him I was like, hey man, do you need me to get you a room or anything?
Right.
And he said he had to get back so he could fill out a police report against Chad that night.
Sure.
So I think he drove back.
Whoa! You heard it here, folks. John, who's never broken the law, is not a criminal in any way. That seems reckless.
Drove over 2 hours drunk back home so he could file a police report. If that isn't irony, fucking you in the ass raw, I don't know what is.
Well, what do you think of the chances that someone would tell John about this and he's going to call Ricky while you're recording this?
Oh God, I might block his number.
No, don't.
Oh, come on.
What is his number?
Put him on if he calls you. All right, let me get caught up a little bit. Ricky, great job so far. I'm learning a lot. This is fantastic.
Ricky, real quick, give your dad John's number and tell him to block it, because eventually he will call your parents.
That is true. Shake Your Booty, $5 says, I'd like to ask Mr. Steve Urkel what he thinks of Shuli and Karl's public relationship with ESO, and he is back. What's going on, Edie? What's up, buddy?
I think it's much better now. Okay, can you hear me better?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounding good.
There's like 60-mile-an-hour winds going here, and of course we're not ready for that, I guess, here. But yeah, so
I hear a lot of excuses coming out of you. A lot of excuses.
Listen, that's the story of my life, man. That's how I got to be this old.
Mystic Max says, how did Hughezy end up in DB? Who's responsible for it? How did Hughezy end up in the Dabbleverse? Is that the question? I mean, Hughezy had Stuttering John on his show before the Dabbleverse existed.
Yeah, I started it, and Karl took all the money.
That's true. Hughezy had John on, and then Hughezy had me on not long after, and John was pissed at Hughezy for having me on. And like, didn't he reach out to you to yell at you for having me on your show?
You're a prick.
Yeah. James Q Legend, $2 says, Ricky, good you turned on him before getting video flag. Oh. Okay. Guess people thought you could have done something differently. Reverend Billy says, hypocrite police, Hughezy and SJ ran the course. Hughezy, I imagine that means.
Cool. Good one, Billy.
No, I did say that talking about him was getting dull because I was interviewing Rob Saul.
Well,
and we were talking about how Rob Saul's endless defense and all that stuff. It's available right now at Huge Entertainment on YouTube for free.
You mean to tell me after your interview of Rob Saul, you felt like everything was a waste of time?
Shocking. Karl, did you know ESO arrested before he pled guilty? I did not. I learned the same time everyone else did. Not dogs.
Everyone. There are a few people that knew before anyone. They're just not talking about it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know. 2 short long dogs says, hey, Ricky, is your rifle still called Charlene?
I don't get that reference.
All right.
Isn't that a Full Metal Jacket? Are you trying to say he looks like Private Pile?
No, that must be it.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
I'm not cut out for the insults. I've told you guys that.
Is Three Sisters a gay bar? That's where John was hanging out. Three Sisters Brewing. I doubt it. That doesn't sound like a gay bar.
No. Three Fisters down the street.
Right.
That's a gay bar.
Tony Everready. Karl, when did you first learn that ESO was a pedo? Who told you? Why didn't you let your fans know when you found out? I did. I found out when everyone else did.
Yeah, the third question's based on you not answering the first two, I guess.
Diablo Sandwich says, Ricky, who is your comedy hero and why is it Jeff Foxworthy? Ever worked with Ray DeVito? And how long ago did you know about ESO?
Diablo.
Oh, man.
My comedy hero, probably Norm MacDonald.
Oh. That hack?
Never worked with Ray DeVito, and I don't see the big deal about child molestation. So
you heard it here. That's going to be clipped.
Come on.
Clip it.
Let's go.
That's fucking disgusting, dude.
Yeah, I know, Aaron.
Karl, you concur with Frog and Shuli that ESO was the mole. No idea. I don't think John had a mole. Shit show. EDR shoplifting a modem right now. Is that true, EDR?
Hey,
You sound a lot better.
What happened? Everything was going fine, and then they cut this DEI thing off, and then everything went with it. I actually had to go into my own pocket to get a signal to be on this damn show today.
Son of a bitch. That's not right. My buddy Adam Bush, $10 says, "Hi, Ricky. First time, long time. What did you mean earlier by John not leaving your side? I think he was at the other bar because he was scared and needed you to walk him in."
Oh.
Oh, no. When I said he wouldn't leave my side, I meant, so the place is real small. Obviously, you've seen pictures. I had to work the door, and he just kind of stood there the whole time by me, but there was no green room or anything like that. So he didn't really have anywhere else to go. So I was just with him the whole time. I walked him back. He didn't ask me to, but I just wanted to make sure he got there. And I'm very much I like to arrive early and 45 minutes, but to me that was pushing. I wanted to be set up and ready to go.
What is the height difference between you and John?
Yeah, so I'm about 5'11", and he didn't come off as a midget or anything. He seemed like regular size. I don't know. I didn't
like a real person.
How far could you toss him if you had to? What do you think?
I had my ex-father-in-law pass away from alcoholism, and towards the end he just got kind of frail. Yeah. More than a height, he just looked gray and frail, which it's very sad, but also hilarious. So
sure.
I don't know how to.
Thanks for bringing the levity back to it. But seriously though, Rick, I mean, he is much shorter than you, right?
I mean, I didn't. I was so starstruck, I didn't have time to size him up. But It didn't come off as weird. I'm not. I'm just average height myself. He seemed maybe a little below average, but nothing that people would point and make fun of.
So it wouldn't look like he's not the height of him and three buddies would wrestle King Kong Bundy in a handicap match, right? Not like that.
No, nothing freakish.
That was a fun squash match.
What was the after party like? So John was standing around and talking to the fans who stuck around, who wanted pictures with them, and he wanted to talk about Chad Zumach writing notes and stuff.
He did all that on the way in. By the time I hit this, So by the
time you have any blow?
By the time I hit the stage, I was gone. As soon as I hit the mic, strapped my guitar on. I'm a hacky guitar act. So as soon as I strapped my guitar on, I heard a crash, and then I heard John yell, "Whoa!" I gotta clip this and send it to you. I forgot about that. It's funny as hell. It was off camera, but one of the opening acts, the host of the show, the seat completely caved out as soon as I was getting on stage. She cut her back up pretty good. And the whole 20 people that were left just sat and laughed at her. John.
Well, it is a comedy show in their defense. They're there to laugh.
John being the gentleman that he is, just kept walking out the door.
You were hot enough to help.
The one person who took the time to help her up, make sure she was okay.
Oh, very nice.
Wow.
But trying to get laid.
Yeah.
He can't
run.
Yeah.
After that, he told me before I got on stage that he wasn't going to be able to stay the whole time because he had to get back to follow that police report. So.
See, now, in my opinion, there's certain etiquette, right? And when somebody gives you a spot, when somebody brings you into a show they already have booked, it's kind of customary that you hang out and you watch the headliner and you thank him at the end of the night and then you leave.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree. Yep. Yeah. If he was booked on the gig and he was like, "Hey, I got to split afterwards," that's one thing. But you actually kind of did him a solid, and then it would kind of bother me if I left before even taking the time out after a show to say thanks for giving me the time and spot.
And imagine, Ricky, if 20 tickets were sold to see John, and then John just leaves, and now 20 people just get up and leave the show. That's not fair to you.
Yeah, it didn't bother me at all.
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, Shuli.
Yeah,
actual John fans showing up.
I'm not familiar with Ricky. I just know Ricky from this incident and stuff. Have you been doing comedy a long time?
Yeah, about 15 years or so.
Okay.
Off and on.
So you book a lot of shows and everything, and
I try to. It's hard. Are you a comedian or?
Slightly, yeah. But here's the thing for me.
Oh, stop it, EDI.
Here's what I always say about booking these shows. I think here's what's going on with the whole comedy thing and why it might be a little bit more difficult to book shows. I think media and society has probably forced a good 50 comedians down your throat that you're going to recognize from the top. And since they've done that, it's made the world seem like, well, why do I need to go see anybody else if I can see these 50 guys?
You know, blaming Matt Rife for not selling tickets. Is that what you're saying?
Well, this is what I'm saying. It's like they're like, well, I can go see these guys. Well, who's this guy? Because I haven't heard him. But like I said, the media pushes them, and the comedy clubs are getting worse. Eventually, it's going to be hard to perform in the comedy clubs, because back in the day, you would do these comedy clubs, and they would go from like Wednesday to like Saturday or Sunday. You know, I mean, I used to do a show. Funny Bone used to have a show Wednesday, one Thursday, 2 Friday, 3 Saturday, and 1 on a Sunday. And they would bring in, hey, your openers from New York, or your features from Florida, and your headliners from Texas. Now they just bring in the headliner, and they use their openers and features are all local people.
Hey, Kendrick, we get it. White people suck, all right? Everybody calm down. Calm down.
Here's the thing, too. It's like there's only 52 weeks in a year, so every club only needs 52 headliners. That's if you're even doing a whole full 52 weeks of a schedule. So for the book, my point being is to book out the other stuff is going to be the better thing. And people always have this tendency to down like firehouses and stuff. And I look at it like, hey, let's say you play a comedy club and there's only 25 people that show up, but you go in the middle of nowhere and there's a firehouse where 300 people show up, you know?
Yeah,
and that's a one-nighter, and you probably get paid better than you do hanging out a week at a comedy club.
Yeah.
I don't even try to. I hate begging people for stuff, so I'm control freak. I book everything myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I generally do small. I'm doing a little tour right now with small theaters, somewhere 100, 200 seat range.
Yeah,
I keep 100%. I keep 100% of the money. They're happy to have people in there, and
it doesn't matter how big the theater is either, because as long as it says theater on your list of places you play, it makes you look like a big shot.
Well, that and financially, people shit on the brewery gigs and stuff. But if I'm keeping 100% of the door and only 40 people show up, $20 a ticket, that's $800.
Right. You're not going to get $800 at a comedy club for a week.
Hypothetical question, Ricky: would you book John again if opportunity presented itself and you had another show that you could book him for?
I would. I liked him. He was a nice guy to me. I don't have a problem with him.
That's going to change now after this appearance.
I see it. He doesn't seem like the kind of guy that would hold that against me talking to
you. Aren't you adorable?
You're a sweetheart. You're cute.
With him again, but I would want to talk to him as a friend and tell him, like, you can work me anytime you want, but you're going to have to tighten things up and not drink before the show.
I have a question for EDR, because you and I were talking last month about you making plans to go see John at the Boca Black Box.
Yeah, it was
February 20th to March 1st. Get your tickets.
This is how interesting this guy has it, and I don't think he really understands it, that somebody who's just almost just wants to look at him is going to fly down to Florida for a day just for that opportunity to look at him. I mean, granted, I already kind of know the show that I'm going to get, so it's not like I'm flying for that. It's almost like I'm going to look at the guy. And if he had an inkling and had just a little bit of likability, he can make a ton of money. Because even when he did the show here with Ricky, and it was like the people showed up and they wanted to laugh at something. They wanted to be there. And the jokes that he was doing they were kind of groaners, and he doesn't have a great personality, so they weren't going over either. But I just want to go down there and look at him. My biggest problem is he going to show?
I think he will. It's getting promoted. In fact, I have the promotion. Someone posted it.
I think that guy's a buddy of his too, so I doubt it.
For sure. Yeah, that's true. Yes.
Oh, he's got to be, and I'll tell you why he has to be, because that guy is a stickler for comedy. I mean, listen, that room, that Boca Black Box room, only does well. I've only seen 2 people do really well in there comedically. One is Bobby Collins, okay?
Yeah.
And the other one is
Ricky Melton.
Dice. It was Dice.
It was Dice. Right.
Yeah. And then he decided to come up with the smaller room because he was like, well, I don't want to abandon all the comedians, and give them a place and have an outlet to go. But he's a stickler. I did that place once, and it seats like what? Shuli was like 200 or something people, maybe.
Yeah.
And maybe I had it half full, and then he told me that wasn't good enough. Yeah. So I was like, okay, he's a stickler. So I have to believe that they're pretty good close friends.
Hang on, Stuttering John was in Dude, Where's My Car?
No, he starred in it, according to this flyer.
God, I was.
I love that someone pointed this out on Dabbleverse Now, but they drew in the stink lines for us.
Oh
this
my God.
promotion.
And
So it says, listen on the Stuttering John podcast. You can't do that. It does not exist. It's nowhere to be
I
found.
still listen to it every day.
and then it starred on Dude, Where's My Car, Osmosis Jones, and more. It's very odd to me that he has the E logo, the Tonight Show logo, the New York Post for some reason, all really tiny at the bottom. But Dude, Where's My Car and Osmosis Jones are large. Why wouldn't he have Howard Stern's show as the largest thing on here?
It's funny. When he worked there, it was the largest thing on there, and it drove his boss nuts. Now he's no longer there, and you can put it as big as you want, and he doesn't put it at all.
But I think you're right. And I think people are he's the one that talks about the Tonight Show and Howard Stern the most. When you say you starred in Dude, Where's My Car, I should be able to turn that movie on and you're standing right there. I shouldn't have to search through you. That's like me going, hey, you know what? I was in the movie Glory.
Right.
Well, that's fine. There are like 6 million black people in that damn thing. I could have been anywhere, know?
I love comedies. But so starred on.
Yeah.
That's I just, and then Osmosis Jones, was that not a cartoon?
Oh, I think so, right?
Yeah, that's the Bill Murray one about a guy who's so unhealthy that he's dying from the inside. Well,
they cast the right guy for it. I'll tell you that.
Stewie felt $5 says Stuttering John got one of the sisters from the Three Sisters to buy all his beer. Very possible. A lot of rumors are getting started here. Acapella, Stuttering John drank PBR because that's what was cheapest. Yeah.
Ding ding.
Of course it was. How much was a PBR? Do you know off the top of your head, Ricky?
I do not know.
Low enough for John to not ask for free beer. So that should tell you.
I won't tell what I paid him, but I definitely overpay everybody I work with. So
you definitely overpaid him, and I don't know what you paid him.
Team Queef and Beef has been a member for 2 months. It says, hey, look at me. I'm a member for 2 months. Yay. Hey, Karl. You like Manor Astroman? I love Manor Astroman. Thank you for asking. And thanks for being a member. Captain Chaos, $5. So is this the Ricky that got John the information on the guy that recorded the show? I don't think he did. You don't know who recorded the show, right?
I mean, I remember the one guy I bought a ticket from
what's his social security number?
Promo code John. Well, I have to get him to leave me a super tip first, and then I'll be able to tell you.
Right. Promo code John you had for this? So did they get a discount for it?
Yeah, well, I was originally trying to work it out where I would pay him like based off how many people use the promo code.
Right.
Which in this case, I would have had to give him like $5 or something like that. But
so you gave him more than $5. What you're saying?
There was only one person who used that promo code. When that person showed up, I was like, oh yeah, this guy's up to no good. I can tell he was by himself, and lurking around.
AO 1012 says Skullburger. Diablo Sandwich. Ricky, did John drive home? Yeah, I think we did cover that. It seems like he must have. Big fan, $10 says, other than alcohol, did John smell bad or was unkempt, like greasy hair, bad breath, etc.? Did he drive after the show?
He didn't look great, but he didn't smell other than the beard.
Did he look like anything like this?
No.
How old is that?
I mean, imagine you're walking down the street, right? You don't know John's playing at the bar, and all of a sudden you see his picture, and you go, "Holy shit! I've been a Stern fan my whole. I didn't know he's playing here. Let's go see him."
Yeah.
And then he walks out, the John of today, and you're like, "What the fuck did I just walk into?"
When I was doing the Facebook promotion, I used this headshot from the Tonight Show when he had like a suit on.
Sure.
Oh man, he's far from that.
Pat Shan
He's far
with
from
2
that.
pounds says, Ricky, you upset the squeegee bit was not done. Yeah, are you upset he didn't have his world famous closer?
I actually was a little bit because
Yeah.
I've never seen it. I've just heard tale. So.
Sonny John's whole life is airing old grievances and current.
Thank God
Happy
for
Valley Wrecking Crew 10 bucks says, Stern years he was like a 10-year-old. Now his predator skills are honed. He actually got craftier over the years. Still a wet brain, but now can manipulate bar dummies.
Because he's dumb. He's stupid, and he's never going to amount to shit.
Am I the bar dummy in that situation?
That's a good question. Stewie Felt 10 bucks says, how many people were watching for free on the other side of the channeling fence?
That was like Woodstock. They're trying to cut a hole in it.
Oh, there was those fucking pedal bikes going by. St. Pete's like a little like Nashville type scene. There's people everywhere. Not a good place for outdoor shows.
No. Mike Ledford, $2 says, how tall is Ricky compared to John?
I'm 5'11". I was taller than him.
Shake Your Booty says, can you ask Mr. Steve Urkel if he do appearance for son's birthday party in Dubai? Very much money.
Oh, he's talking to me. Oh, okay.
I think he's talking to you. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Yeah. Get in touch with his people. Gilman, Ricky, are you looking over your shoulder for Hitman Dan? Oh, that's a good question.
I will be now.
Goes to Cabby. EDR, at the end of the thing, when you and Kurt Russell are sitting by the fire, was either of your characters an alien?
I quit.
EDR has to put up with this shit every time he's on the show.
I gotta tell you, I am so entertained by the Dabbleverse should get together and do a comedy show. They're amazing.
They just don't see black people ever. They're amazed by
that's
it.
their problem. They're all over the place.
I
don't get mad at me. Don't get mad at me for the halftime thing in football either.
You're not to blame for that.
Can I be autistic and ruin that guy's joke?
Please.
The Thing video game just came out, and John Carpenter authorized it, so it has a new ending that answers the question of which one was the alien.
Oh, look at that.
I like that.
Good stuff, Hughezy. Mystic Mac. Ricky sounds like a hick who married his cousin. He has been in a relationship for a long time, he said.
Well, it's my second cousin, but she's hot.
Well,
So.
then it's
Say
okay.
hello. Say hello first.
She's hot. It doesn't count. Zach Hoffman, good to know Ricky attracts the hogs and heifers.
Somebody's got to.
Kenny Curvecock. Ricky, do you think it's a sustainable business model as a comedy booker to immediately stab the talent in the back after one appearance?
Yeah,
you said,
I
said a lot of nice things about John, by the way.
Yeah.
John's not the first one. Everybody I work with is a piece of shit.
Yeah, and I like how you're worried about his comedy industry crumbling. The guy was doing a show in a backyard, okay? It's not the end of the world. Everybody relax. He didn't have that Carnegie Hall. He didn't release his set from Carnegie Hall, you fucking babies.
Why is EDR here? DEI ended already.
Yeah, I addressed that earlier.
Yeah, don't worry. We're not giving him a cent for this appearance. Don't worry.
That's it. That's why I said my Wi-Fi was down. That they took it back. I had to get my own.
You should change your name to EDI from now on. I'm telling you.
Coach Six String Man says, has VTM been trying to shift blame away from himself this whole time? Interesting.
You said it.
Talks
We're all
about it the
thinking
most.
it. Yep.
Something going on. Ricky, scale 1 to 10. How awful was John? 1 awful, 10 god awful.
I'm going to go with a 2, but potential to be a 7 if he would stay sober.
Right. That's like if the fat chick has a really pretty face if she lost weight.
Let's be honest, though. I'm sorry. If it's not John, you're not going to book him again. Anyone has a set like I just saw, no one. See, anyone can get the gig the first time. It's being able to get it the second time, that makes a difference. And in a perfect world, you get the gig and then you rebook that gig for the same time the next year, and that's how you fill your year up. Okay, but a guy like that, if he's not John, I don't think anyone's going to go, hey, listen, we won't have you back, or they just don't answer his phone calls.
I would work with him again. I feel like I could coach him. I could be a coach, comedy coach.
All right, so
I 100% would go see Stuttering John do stand-up comedy. It would be unmissable.
I love that Ricky keeps saying, I can help him, I can do this, I can do that. And to quote my dad, who has this saying, I've seen that movie before, and the hero dies in the end. It's not going to work. You're not going to.
Yeah, he doesn't listen. Ricky, you have a heart of gold when it comes to this. But if it were anybody else, I'd be like, yeah. But what we've learned over the long time is the fact that he's so into his own head and into himself that it's just going to aggravate him. He's not going to look at you helping him. He's looking at it as you saying that he's not good enough.
Just you saying you need to tighten it up would send him through the roof.
Oh, it was fun. He does get sensitive because I was like, only 43 people bought tickets for tonight. I was like, it's hard to get people to come out if you don't have a name. I was referring to myself.
Right.
He was like, what do you mean about that? I have a name. I was on, and I'm like, no, I don't mean you.
Really? Was Gene Simmons in your music video?
Where's my car?
Ricky, I'm upset. I'm glad that we got the audio from the show so we can see where John's at, working out his new chunk that he had. But I'm disappointed there's no video because of the sneeze. Ooh. Could you please tell us about the sneeze?
It was the most disturbing thing I've ever seen in my life. So it's outside tonight. Everything about the venue was shitty except for the lights. The stage was lit up beautifully. And he was in the middle of whatever joke, and he turned. He said, "Excuse me." And he doesn't cover his mouth, doesn't even pretend to, and sneezes. And the way it caught the light, people like gasped, and then there was just silence, and people like started looking at each other. And a lady had a dog in the front row, like sitting on her lap, like one of those little lap dogs, and he blamed the dog for making him sneeze. But I never seen it. Like, that's what killed the show right there.
Well, so the audience reacts with this gasp after the sneeze, and John makes a comment like, well, I don't want to get it on my hands. John doesn't realize there's other ways to block your sneeze than by just shoving your hand in it.
He wasn't going to do it. He wasn't going to do it into his arm, Karl, because that's what he wipes his arse with.
That's true. And make it a bit. Somebody go long, catch, and then sneeze.
Something, yeah.
Make it fun.
You want to get COVID from a celebrity? I was on Osmosis Jones.
Well, speaking of, I have breaking news about that. Karl, I just texted you the link to the cast of Osmosis Jones.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'm not seeing it. Maybe my glasses are fucked. Can you bring this up and look? Because for whatever reason, I cannot seem to find John Melendez in the cast.
He's got to be in here, otherwise they wouldn't be using it as a promotional tool.
Oh, I do that all the time. I lie about credits all the time.
Oh, there he is right there. Chris. Oh, no, he's not Chris.
All right, there. Kid? No, that's Kid Rock.
That's not it. Is it Brandy?
Oh, there he is. Mickey McGowan. No, that's Mickey McGowan.
Robert. No.
There's literally everybody in this. I could see why he would use this, because people just be like, yeah, everyone's in that thing.
Wow.
My God. Jesus.
Okay, and that's everybody in the cast. So you know that if he were in there, he would at least be in there. I mean, there's people that are just bit players, but they still got their photo in there.
There's people with no even like character name underneath their thing.
Riff Hutton was my shop teacher in high school. Everybody's getting it.
How is Nicole Kidman in this?
I don't know. She probably walked by. She probably got caught in the background.
Walk by.
How is Nicole Kidman below Antonio Fargas?
You don't want to piss off Tom Cruise.
If anyone's going to the show, please ask him for some Osmosis Jones stories from the set.
Yeah. Do that famous quote you did. Yeah.
Ask him about his scene.
Yeah. Where are you?
Recreate that.
Yeah, wow. I like your scene. What was your scene again? Tell me.
You tell me.
It's been so long.
Someone says they found him as additional character voice.
Okay.
Well, that doesn't sound like starred on to me.
No.
People wouldn't watch that movie and be like, I got to go see that guy do comedy.
Yeah. And you know what's funny nowadays is like when we've had so much comedy that people's credits don't really matter. What happens is if you're on TV 1,000 times a week, that has all the power there is. Other than that, you can say you've been on everything, and basically people come out and go, okay, well, what are you going to do right now?
Right.
Yeah, I see all the posters because I go to the comedy club to do the creep off every Monday. So I see all the comics that are coming in, and I see the posters, and everything now is just TikTok and YouTube.
YouTube, yeah.
Like the credits that people give now. It's like,
Yeah, that's why
it doesn't even matter.
Ricky's got the right idea in booking your own stuff, and that's what I kind of do too, because I can't go up against the guy that has a really hot 5-minute video.
I was on TMZ one time briefly, and if you see any of my credits, it's starring on TMZ.
Yeah,
so I get it.
Yeah.
So Ricky, one of the things you'd written to me in the email describing these events is that John is very much focused on the Dabbleverse, and anyone who's listening to him, that's what he'll tell them about. So can you describe, I know it seeped into the act a little bit. You talked about how he had haters, and he brought that up, and people just seem to be like, what's going on here?
They're just jelly.
Yeah, he said that people are jelly during his act. But you're saying before the show, so as people are coming in, he's working the door, he's telling them about this Chad Zumach guy and explaining what's going on in the Dabbleverse?
Yeah, tell him about the sign he put on his door, make fun of his kid and trashing his family. And they're like, okay, like, cool, can we get a picture?
Right, yeah.
It's like, well, did your kid see it? Yeah, I sent it to him just to make sure he would see it.
At any point in the evening, did you hear him say this?
Fuck you, Mike Morse. You stupid untalented piece of shit.
Is that true? Did he ever go off on Mike Morse at any point?
I didn't hear him talk about Mike. No.
Mike owes me $10. All right, just wanted to make sure.
Oh wait, Silent Mike, you mean?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. God damn it. Yes. Nailed it.
Good try. I have a clip that I want to play. Now, what I've been doing on Point Dabble Point is John did a 5.5, 6 hour long final episode of on December 31st on New Year's Eve of 2024. And I'm still going through it. We haven't really reviewed much of it yet. I've only a couple hours into it. But I love when John works his stand-up routine into his podcasting. This is often considered a no-no for comedians, but John just goes right for it, and I'll prove it here. Oh, me.
Sunflower Dragon thinks of fiber. Failed husband. Well, I don't know if that's a failure. 15 years together. That's like 3,000 in Kardashian.
I was married 13 years, 3 great years. But shit, that's like 127 in Kardashian, right? You guys like the Kardashians?
Ooh.
Come on, I'm friends with them.
Come on now. Oh, okay.
So
now you're talking.
My question for, because I have a bunch of comics and Hughezy here with me tonight. So my question for you guys is,
hey, wait a minute.
What's a funnier number, 3,000 or 127? Because those are the two he threw out there for Kardashian years of.
And did anyone elbow their significant other and go, he knows them, laugh, clap fucking hands, stupid bitch.
So stupid. He really wanted everyone to know what a celebrity he was. He said multiple times he was hanging out with the Kardashians back in the day.
It's amazing all the people he's claimed to hang out with, and none of it has stuck to him.
Well,
no.
You know why?
It's never stuck to him.
You know why?
The only reality is mine.
There you go. That's why.
Hey, I have a question for Shuli. Yeah. When you were on the Stern Show, when you left the Stern Show, did you have people in your life who like semi-famous who just completely stopped talking to you, or?
I had people that were not famous, semi-famous, very famous. They all stopped.
Yeah.
Do you bring them up when you're on stage? Or?
No, I don't bring them up.
No.
Off stage, on like, guess what? They moved on. You know who else moved on? Me. That's it. That's it. It's over.
You
don't say like I used to know Will Murray.
Yeah, right. I don't say that on stage.
Yeah, the other thing too is like, if you're a comedian, and like I've done radio for like 1,000 years, it would seem like, but if you're a comedian and you do radio, your act should be a separation from any of that. You shouldn't be talking about any of that at all, because they can hear what you talk about on the radio. You're supposed to have them go, wow, that guy's funny on the radio. Let's see what he does live. You don't want to have them go back and talk about anything that you do every day.
But here's where the Stern audience was different from O&A audience, because I've worked with Norton and done shows with him, and his audience doesn't need him to the O&A audience didn't need them to talk about Lady Di or Bobo on stage. Whereas when we would go on tour, and as John would say, granted, we would have, Beetle and the Iron Sheik with us.
Right.
All they wanted was stuff from the show. So the minute you deviated and went to material, they were like, "Fuck you! Bring out Beetle. Let him shit his pants." They didn't.
Yeah, you know what? Because I think you're right. Because let me step back a little bit on that. Is because once you get up there, it's just a matter of survival at that point. And with that audience, it's like you got to give them what they want. But let me ask you this, Shuli: when you did stand up, I mean, did you try to do a regular just set that you knew before you got on the Stern show, and how well did that go over?
Terrible. It was I would go out and I try and do a set, and they just boo me right off the stage. So then I would come out and I would do voices from the show. I do Elliot, I do High Pitch, I do Jeff, and then it's like almost telling them I'm not a cop. I'm not wearing a wire. Everything's good. And then I could try and squeeze in some bits, but
that's like when I saw Ray DeVito at Hackamania last year. By the way, hackamania.com, promo code WATP for 10% off your tickets, May 9th through 11th. When I saw Ray DeVito, he came up on the stage during the stand-up comedy portion and just started shitting on Kevin Brennan. And everyone was loving it. He's just talking about MLC stuff, Chad Zumock. Everyone's going nuts. They transitioned into his act, and everyone just immediately turned on him like, this sucks.
I guess it's almost kind of a blessing and a curse, because if you're a comedian where you've worked to do comedy, you're like, okay, well now I'm just kind of I'm doing requests now. It's like when what's his name, Bill Engvall gets up there and they wait for him to get done so they can yell out, hey, do some here's your sign sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So you were talking about if people stopped talking to you after you left the Howard Stern show. It reminds me of something I want to talk about today.
Grillo.
Steve Grillo is putting out a book on March 15th of 2025. And it is Gorilla Parts.
I like it.
It's going to be about his time on the Howard Stern show, I believe.
Let's go.
God, I hope there's an audio book.
Is this, right? Is this
exactly
23 and a half years too late for this? Is anyone looking for this?
You know what? Here's what I say. Out of all the people that work for Howard, Grillo is one of the few that Howard dedicated a fucking book to.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's listen. Out of all the people that fucked up their jobs over there and were terrible at their jobs, Grillo got a book dedicated.
But
to him.
you know why though, right, Shuli?
Because he was a loyal soldier.
Because he worked for free illegally.
Yeah, whatever.
Grillo was still interning there when he wasn't getting college credit for it, which is illegal. It's called slavery.
Listen,
Karl.
What am I, a politician, Karl? I'm going to start writing laws now.
Do you think he had like a 30-year NDA or something? Is that why the book's coming out?
Yeah, that's another great question.
Like, unless he has a section about how he banged Howard, no one cares about anything else that went on. I mean, the whole situation was lunacy. I can't imagine what he's going to capture in a book that
it's going to be like John's book, where it step-by-step details of how he made the potato. That's what I'm looking for.
I'm there.
And if anybody wants a preview of that Grillo book, I had him on the podcast twice, and he told dozens of Stern stories, so you could probably get it for free. So there you go.
Put it on your Patreon for free. People love that when you post people's books. So, Ricky, you mentioned that you were, fan of the Dabbleverse to some extent. That's why you reached out to John when you saw his gig get canceled. And you thought, let's see if we can get him on the show and sell some tickets. So what has been your entry point? How long have you been watching the Dabbleverse, or how into it are you?
Like, embarrassingly a lot. Like, when I was telling my fiance what I was doing today, I was like, I'm doing this podcast about and I had to try to explain to her what that was.
Good luck.
It was so embarrassing.
Just send her the Sheet Shitterson documentary. It explains everything.
You're not gay?
I actually listened to original podcasts like Royce and stuff for some reason. I don't know why, but I kind of enjoyed it. It was, hearing about his day-to-day life and stuff. I understand it was bad, but
you actually listened to the
like
Stuttering John show.
2018. I'm in the car a lot, so I'm
no
always,
shit. Okay.
And, I understand it was bad, but I hate watched it.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then I heard him start talking about you very early on, and that kind of turned me onto it.
Yeah, we're going back and revisiting all of his 2018 shows on my Patreon right now, Living in the Past with Stuttering John. And I didn't realize, because we reviewed one of his episodes back then, and we listened here and there. But now that I'm going through listening to every episode, his show was all just about what people would tweet him, and then he'd get pissed off about those people tweeting that at him, or calling out Artie, calling out Anthony Cumia, calling out Howard Stern, Gary Dell'Abate, Dan Filato. Like, it was nothing but bashing people, but not in a fun, like, hey, I'm just clowning this guy kind of way. It was tear these people down for being assholes, and I hate them.
Do you judge me because I enjoyed it?
No, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. But what's great is that John always deserved this. When going back, it makes me realize, like, oh, John wasn't doing just a fun, carefree show, and then all of a sudden people started piling on. He was trashing everyone nonstop. That's all he was ever doing.
He drew first blood, you're saying?
Yeah.
He might have drawn first blood if you read his book.
And we're doing a similar thing, Karl, on TSN. We're going back and listening to old Rob Saul podcast episodes. And we found gems like this.
I just wanted to stop by and say you both can gargle on my beanbag, and Rob fucks Bijan Friege.
So, there's a lot of cool stuff in the early episodes.
Speaking of Rob Saul, Galaxy Opal Grill posted this on Reddit. Dabbleverse Anonymous. This is Rob Saul's Valentine's Day shirt.
Oh,
my Valentine has paws.
Oh.
It's cute, isn't it?
Oh, it's adorable. I love dogs, so
I'm happy for those two.
Those two crazy kids.
They have a great relationship. Stewie felt, I love wholesome race comedy, don't we all?
Who doesn't?
That's what we're here for. Hey, my buddy Tony from Hack the Movie says, tell Hughezy to stop DMing me about his home cinema.
Whoa. So
Tony,
annoying.
you're just such a jealous little Italian.
No one told me there was going to be boasting.
Too much out of you, Hughezy. Michael C. says, make EDR get 3/5 of this super chat. I can't do the math on that, sir. No. Reverend Billy says, Ricky, have you heard Shuli's sliced Parmesan cheese bit? Maybe you should hire him for the backyard show.
Yeah, it's available on Spotify. That's a album put out called Shuli. Go check it out. It's a little different from John because you hear audience members laughing.
I would work with you anytime, Shuli. Can you do 90 minutes there?
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. Indoor or outdoor. Just let me know.
I'm just remembering this, Shuli, and probably you were thinking about this before, but I'm responsible for you playing an outdoor show in Nashville.
Oh, that's right.
It was you, me, and Vinny Paulino, and my review girl, Vic, at the time, who did a show, and I think you were even saying that, Ricky. It's like playing in Nashville outdoors. Not a good idea.
Yeah. How's your GPS, though? That's the main question.
We all found it.
The worst one I ever did was like a Stern fan who hired me for a party he was throwing, and I show up. He gets me like a car service, pay me like $1,500. It's a great deal. Mm-hmm. I show up to the guy's place. It's a backyard barbecue. They're roasting an entire pig. And I'm performing in front of a swing set and jungle gym, and there's a sensor light that's my spotlight on the side of the house, and it keeps shutting off. And there's one tall guy in the back that just kept going like this and triggering the light to go back on. And I closed by going down the slide. That's what you do, John. You adapt. You lazy sack of shit.
Joe Black says, sweet, the Stuttering John helped the Fallen comics. Thanks, Ricky. Yeah, John's a sweetheart. Stewie felt $2 says, basic human functions are alien to Stuttering John. Like covering your face when you're sneezing, I assume. Adam Bush, another $10 says, funny how John called the bar 3 daughters when it was really 3 sisters. Says a lot.
That could just be me forgetting the story.
As a side note, with Adam Bush. So listen, he was on the show one time when he was on there, and I really didn't know much about Adam Bush.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then all of a sudden I said, well, let me go down this rabbit hole. And there used to be a movie that I think it was back in 2013, 2014 called The Jury or something like that. I think it was. And I like that movie, and he's in that movie. So when John says he's got credits, I don't know if you looked up Adam. Adam's got a whole lot of credits. He's a pretty big deal. He's kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck Sarah Michelle Gellar.
He turns
even
down
made me watch
Dabbleverse.
Buffy and the Vampire Slayer, which I don't like vampires or anything, but I knew he was in it now. So
They're not real, EDR. They can't get you.
No, I don't like. That's all. Listen. That's white people stuff. You got vampires, zombies.
You're right.
You know.
Hey, no race humor, please.
Yeah.
we have to invent things to be afraid of. That's how good we have it.
Like life's not hard enough.
Right.
Yeah. We're afraid of DEI.
That's actually funny. You should. That's a funny bit. You should say that. We have.
I'm working it out. I'm trying to make it a chunk. Yeah. So the best was when it was Clay Dabbler telling John how famous Adam Bush was, and John hated that. He did not want to hear about that at all. Stevie Felt says SJ was hemorrhoid number 8 in that movie. I believe it.
8 hemorrhoids? Jesus.
Dabble Babble, $5. Ricky sounds like an amazing person, but Stuttering John would tell him to fuck off the moment he feels he's not top dog to Ricky. That's everybody's experience.
Yeah, that's his track
record. I guess
Yeah.
we will see.
You've got hope. That's good. You can have hope. Hope is good.
Have you talked to him at all outside of the time he called you when you were traveling through Georgia?
Maybe a day or two later he called. He's doing a show up in Youngstown, Ohio.
Yeah.
And he offered me a spot on the show, which I had to decline because I'm
Holy
booked
shit.
somewhere else.
Well, that's very sweet of him.
Yeah, it was.
He's looking for a new buddy.
Because I'll pay you half of what you paid me.
John was the character model for Mucus in Osmosis.
Now that I believe.
Stewie Felt has seen on bum fights, Stuttering John.
Shout out the bum fights.
Aki Mugen, thoughts on Osa being a snowbird?
Oh, her being in Florida?
Well, there's some rumors going around. Some people are saying things and talking about stuff.
And also the other day when we were breaking the news that he had a cleaning woman that was coming, charged him $300, but refused to clean the cat litter boxes. Right. And John, instead of cleaning the cat litter boxes, just went and bought new cat litter boxes.
Correct.
Way to go.
Which that's not a great sign. And yeah, so one of the reasons why the cat stuff needs to be cleaned up is because more pop-up visits are on the table from animal control.
Right.
And he's possibly been fined again. I gotta look into the details for something else, but because I heard he didn't have the paperwork that he claimed he had, proving the cats were licensed. And so there's a lot of cleaning going on. There's a lot of stuff happening. He's not broadcasting from home. It just seems odd to me. And this March 1st announcement, right?
Right.
He's returning March 1st. Meanwhile, he's booked at Boca,
right,
28th and the 1st. So is his big guest the owner of the Boca Black Box? That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah, I like I said, I met the guy, and I know he's a nice enough guy, but he's strictly business. So they have to be really good friends, because I can't see John getting booked there. Now in this 2.0 room, which is kind of L-shaped, and it seats about maybe 60, 70 people. That's where he's putting the overflow of comedians that usually come down there, because Jim Florentine, I think, is going to be there, and they got.
Well, no, they have one of the nights he's on. They have a Led Zeppelin cover band performing that.
Yeah, that's in the big room. Yeah. And,
so that'll be fun, bleeding in.
Yeah, no, that's going to be really obnoxious.
Yeah.
All right.
I wonder
Chris
if he
says, "Yeah, go ahead."
I'm sorry. I just thought of this. I wonder if he parked down the street at that other brewery so nobody could be snooping around his car to see how gross it is. If there's any spies there.
He does have to take precautions like that.
Yeah, What an awful way to live life.
Yeah,
Like,
no shit.
yeah. It's like the dumbest spy movie ever, you know?
Does Earl hate working with Gail Bennington?
Different Earl, I believe.
Yeah.
Stewie Felt says, so Osa is now a snowbird as well as a snow bunny. Am I right, Earl?
Come on.
Yeah, I think she might be down there with him.
Jeez. Fake KB, but the sunglasses are back on.
You know, that's another
I think
thing
he just
too,
put
guys.
the sunglasses back on.
With like Kevin Brennan, it's like they tried to book a show. Was it him and Chad that tried to book a show, and it didn't go well?
It didn't happen.
And those guys have years of experience, just tons of experience. I mean, Kevin Brennan, I remember seeing him he did Just for Laughs in Montreal, which any comedian knows that's a huge deal. Usually when you do that, you're set to do something on television. And he killed the set that he had. And I just know that with all the experience that those guys have, I can't believe that they weren't able to pull that off. And it was only like 60 people, they said.
EDR, I'll let you know that Kevin's done a lot of television. He talks about it all the time. That's just how far he's fallen.
Yeah.
He can't figure out a beer hall in Atlantic City.
Well,
he was fucking Santa Claus on Spin City.
Hold on. Not successful? Did you not see the joy on the 14 people's faces in Kevin's room that night?
When they were chanting racist, whatever they were doing. Yeah, they were having fun. They were having a good time.
Yeah. So who's falling further, you think? If you're talking about falling down, I don't know Kevin perfectly, but I mean, between like, say, John and Kevin.
Oh, I thought I was in. I was going to say me.
No.
Well, John never had talent. So John fell up. So I don't think he's fallen far.
Yeah.
I think he's just back to where he should be. Whereas Kevin Brennan is actually a funny comic who's just lost his fucking mind. And he's just he's a mental patient at this point.
Karl, you just brought up something amazing because we've all agreed that John is like the Forrest Gump of entertainment, right? He just constantly lands in these situations that he doesn't have the experience or the credentials to be in. Now, again, another Forrest Gump moment. The world is at a point where you being an asshole on YouTube can make you money. You are in show business still. So it's not like he had to, come up with this political show or all this. He can literally go on, be his piece of shit self, and make $100,000 a year doing it.
Yeah, that's true.
Crazy.
If he would be his piece of shit self and let you guys dissect it, you'd have to get into business with him. Because, like Rick said, he watched John's show, and I tried to watch John's show, and I really didn't get into John's show until you guys started cutting it up, and I was watching it through there because when I watch it through you guys, like Shuli and the guy who thought they should trade Josh Allen, when I watch it through you guys say the things that I'm thinking, and it's hard to watch him by himself because I can't. I'm screaming I'm screaming while I'm watching it.
Yeah, that's a black thing, though. You guys yell at everything.
Right.
No, just
the screen can't hear you.
No scream in the house, just the movies.
Well, speaking of that, so this is on John's final show ever. He gets a super chat, and the question is, don't you wish you learned from the WATP review? Are you laughing at the cameo that I have?
Yeah, just the chart of hair. It's like the
evolution of Lost.
It's great.
Did you see this this review that he got? It's very heartening to see John continue his battle against crippling alcoholism to take some time out to address his fan base via cameo.
Perfect.
Do you think that John deliberately moves over into the passenger seat of the car to make it look as if he's being chauffeured?
No, he's sitting in the driver's seat. It's just mirrored.
Yeah. It's actually his left tit is bigger than his right tit.
Right.
But when it's mirrored like this, it's backwards.
So this is, to the point you were just making about how this is the time where you can be Perry Caravello or whoever, just someone who sits on the internet and people throw money at them.
Thanks for the fiber. It's wild to think that if you'd taken WATP's joke as helpful feedback back then, things could have been so different. Instead, here you are spiraling. Well, you know how much money I made doing this, you dumb fuck? Clay, why don't you tell them how much I made doing this?
You made 100K, 92K this year, probably close to 100 now. No, but Lady K, it's not constructive criticism, is it? He's taking the piss. So what should John just say nothing?
There was some actually pretty good advice. If you listen to that first episode we did on John's show, stop bragging about your accomplishments when you were in second grade, I think was one of the things I told him to do. But anyway, so John claims, he has to tell, hey, Clay, tell him how much money I made, which means these are their private conversations.
Right.
John bragging about how much money he had. And then listen to this. It's hilarious.
Let's see. I made almost 96,000.
Yeah, but like I said, is that from the beginning of your streams or this year?
I only came back. It was like a year and a half.
So John goes, I made $96,000, almost $100,000. And then it's like, yeah, but that's all time. That's his all-time YouTube earnings. Like even Clay knew. He's just like, yeah, but that's not like this past calendar year. He's like, no, it's not. Thanks, Clay. What kind of friend are you? I'm trying to brag about my income over here.
And when you divide that by 365, and that's multiple streams per day, like that's actually not that impressive.
No, it's still too much for what he puts out, in my opinion.
Yeah,
but I get it.
I have a question for you guys. I saw this on Dabblers Anonymous, and I want to know if this is real or not. Before I do this, real quick, Ricky, you've been so awesome coming on the show today. Do you have a website people can go to find out where you're playing?
You can do. I got a Facebook page called Ricky Melton Stories, Jokes, and Dirty Country Music Songs. Got a bunch of gigs coming up over the next couple months. So.
All right, so people Google Ricky Melton. Where are you coming to? What cities?
I got Johnson City, Tennessee, Bainbridge, Ohio, Chicago, Illinois. I would love if Dan Filato came out to that if you could help that out. Park Theater in Holland, Michigan, Paramount Theater in Goldsboro, North Carolina. How far are you from Ithaca, New York?
Not too bad. It's like a 2.5 hour drive for me.
Well, it's definitely not worth doing that. But April 18th, I'll be in Ithaca, Portland on the 19th, and Akron, Ohio on the 26th.
Well, if any of you dabblers are in the area where Ricky's coming, go support the man.
For sure,
he deserves it.
Yeah.
Do you do any jokes about black guys?
That's almost exclusively.
Nice. You got it now. The floodgates are open.
Yeah.
Every time I see a clip online, there's some guy thinks he's diving into the realm now about making jokes about black people. I don't care here or there, but it's just funny.
I might hire you to open for me someday. That way you can be like my Robin, so I can make all the jokes.
Right. As long as you're giggling on the side of the stage, everyone's be like, it's okay.
So I can be Black Man and you can be Robinson. Is that what it is? I can be Robinson, the who you calling boy wonder.
Yeah, you have to work the door too, but.
EDR,
where can people find your gigs coming up?
Oh man, if you follow me on my Instagram at Earl David Reed 1, you'll be able to see everything. The Eichelberger Performance Arts Center in Hanover, Pennsylvania. That's March 22nd, April 19th. Also in PA. The Allen Theater. That's there. Indiana Theater too. I do a lot of them. Just follow them on. People do come out and see the show. The Dabbleverse is huge. Where is it? So I did a show at the place called the Appel Center for the Performance Arts. And my guys are taking down the stage set because I have a stage set. And this guy comes up to me after the show and he hands me this thing, this keychain.
Oh, okay.
It has my name on it and the date of the show. And he hands me there and I'm meet and greeting people. And he says to me, yeah, I'm glad I came to see you. This is much better than when I saw you at that potato bar. and then we both looked at each other and went, it was a barbecue restaurant. And the camaraderie felt good. Of course, a lot of people didn't know what the hell we were talking about.
Of course.
But the people are out there, and I do appreciate when people come out and support. So I'll be there in Pennsylvania, Connecticut. I'm going down to Tennessee, all over the place. So just follow me. A lot of theater shows. They're fun. So make sure you check me out at Earl David Reed 1.
All right. So this is the thing I saw.
I'm sorry. Let me say one more thing.
Yeah, please.
May 2nd and 3rd, I only do 2 comedy clubs a year. One is the night before Thanksgiving in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, the Comedy Zone. And then my other one that I do is the Comedy at the Carlson on May 2nd and May 3rd. So I will be there.
That's awesome. I can't wait to see you. We saw you last year, and you're fantastic.
I don't want you to go because I saw what you did to that poor, what's his face? What's his name?
Joe Matarese was not happy.
I saw what you did to him.
Yeah, but you don't have to bring You don't bring the names of your jokes on giant pieces of construction paper up on
Which
stage.
I did see that, and there's a good way he could have done that because it could almost
any other way.
There's a well, turn it the other way, but he could have had it. He would have had to invest more into it. But then you could have had it up there like they do with what is that show? Pardon the Interruption on ESPN.
Yeah,
and then that could have been pretty cool. But he was going off of the sheet. That was just
you know what else would have helped? Memorizing some stuff. That probably would have helped too. Yeah.
All right, so this was posted by Noin on Dabblers Anonymous, and they're saying that this photo John took and sent to someone who he thought was a friend, and then it got out there. Does anyone know anything? Is this John's? It looks like it could be John's head.
So this is the latest thing I'm hearing, after I've reached out to some of my sources, is that he was trying to send this picture to Doug Dustin to convince him to help him pay for hair plugs, a system, if you will, and accidentally sent it to someone that was a former friend, and that former friend sent it to someone else, and now it's on Dabblers Anonymous. But from what I'm hearing, I mean, everything in his life is falling apart, and it's such a John move to be like, I'll get my hair done.
Everything.
Everything.
He saved up $1,300 for that tattoo. And he's got to sell his guitar and his amp and shit, but he got that tattoo. He saved up for it.
Yeah, he's not. Well, he's got looking for the ladies. Hey.
Right? Yeah, that's true. He's got that going for him.
I don't know for sure if this is 100% accurate, but everything in it is 100% believable if you know John.
Yeah. All right, here's another thing I wanted to show you guys. And this is comes in on Dabblers Anonymous. Years ago, we were talking about John's show from 2018. He was doing it with this guy named Royce. Royce was his co-host, but mainly producer. And he put together this episode, this show for YouTube that was Jackie, Billy West, and Stuttering John sitting around a table and chatting about the old days on Howard Stern. And someone zoomed in on a moment during the show where John gets there's a server who comes over and hands John a drink.
Oh, yeah.
And John sees it's only half poured, and he is not happy about this. This is crazy right
here. Looks could kill.
I remember. Oh, yeah.
Look at this look. So he sees the glass, he looks at it, and he looks back over at whoever is pouring.
Royce. He's looking. No, he's
sure
looking
it's
at
Royce.
Royce.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Can you believe what this cunt just handed me?
He's like having fun. He's talking to the guys, and he's just like, "What the fuck?"
Look at his shape. It's just his arms are so thin. He
even shakes his head like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, Bush didn't have that reaction when they told him planes just went into the towers.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
A mess.
9/11, of course, was a national tragedy.
Thank you, Hughezy, for reminding us.
That ain't funny.
We forgot about that in the States.
Yeah.
Stewie felt. Is this not working? It's not
What?
working for some reason. I can't. I can't do anything right now. My StreamYard is completely frozen up on me.
Okay.
There it is.
That's it.
My Valentine loves bestiality from Stewie Felt.
Oh.
I hope SJ is performing at the same Youngtowns club Richard Pryor was kept as a pet back in the day. Okay.
It's that he's performing at the Funny Farm, which I think changes locations every other week. So
yeah, he's performing at a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah,
This is. Yeah. Big Daddy Dodo. Good afternoon, gentlemen, and Hughezy too. I see what you did there.
Big Daddy Doo-Doo.
I see what you did. Joe Corson, right? EDR is the Rock Ridge Sheriff's pension good.
You know what's funny is the last time I was on, and even today I was gonna put instead of my name, I was gonna put Sheriff Rock Ridge.
You should.
I was gonna use that as my name thing because someone mentioned something that a long time ago. So yes, it is very good.
There you go. Stewie Felt $5 says KB was up for the SNL weekly update chair and lost to Jimmy Fallon and Tina Fey. Was he up for it? Come on, what?
Really? Wow.
I'd be surprised if that were the case on that. All right, I have some other clips, but I think we're ready to wind down here. Ricky, is there anything else you can tell us from the night that we didn't talk about, or I mean, even if it's positive for John? Any other experiences you had?
Well, I think we kind of touched on everything that I could think of.
I like that you're like, let's end on a positive note for John, and Ricky's like, yeah, I'm tapped out. He goes, that's all I got.
Well, I told Karl in the email. I made a list of there's some good and some bad. He wasn't a bad guy. He had some good qualities. He has some problems. Hopefully he gets them fixed. But I kind of agree that he probably won't. I still would work with him again though, just for the story. I love doing goofy stuff like that. It makes for an interesting life, you know.
Hell yeah.
I worked with like Screech before from the Saved by the Bell there. He was like a real asshole, and it cost me like a lot of money, but it was so much fun. And I have all these stories and stuff from it that they're not interesting stories, but it's stuff I'll always remember for the rest of my life.
You're like P.T. Barnum.
Yeah.
Right, yeah. That might be your new thing. It's just finding rejects to be on your show.
Yeah. You on the road with Screech reminds me of me on the road with Beetle.
Right.
I hosted this game. I invented this game show back in the day called Win to Lose, a dirty game show. And Screech was on that. It was he was performing before. I used to use these people to sell tickets, you know. But the object of do you have a minute? Should I be?
No, please.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
The object of the game was I would announce a stunt to the audience from the stage, say like eat a bug or something, but it would be something more visually stimulating. The audience would bid the lowest amount they were willing to do that stunt for, and then come up on stage and do it for the money. So one stunt I came up with was called Mystery Shot Glass Challenge. There were 3 shot glasses. One was full of beer.
I'll do it.
One was full of whiskey, and one was full of my chewing tobacco spit. So found a lady willing to do it for $50. Comes up on stage, she does a shot, and the first shot she does, it's beer. So she got her $50.
Okay.
That was where it's supposed to end, but I decided to open the bidding back up now that it was just down to 2, and nobody would do it. Screech comes from backstage, grabs a shot glass, toasts the crowd, does it, and that was the whiskey. And then for reasons I still don't know, he picked up the third one and just he said later he didn't think it was real, but he drank my chewing tobacco spit.
He was calling your bluff.
Yeah.
Backstage, though, it was so pathetic. He was holding his stomach, and he was like, I just don't feel good. Can I have an extra $70?
Wow.
That was the end.
I didn't know he was Jewish.
Wow. And that's the last time I worked with Shuli.
I didn't want to give it to him because the principle of it, but my business partner made me because he didn't want me to fight and screech, you know. But then he goes and he racks up the hotel room he was staying in. It was in my name, which now I know that if you get a hotel room for a performer, you got to put a block on the charges because he charged hundreds of dollars worth of shit. So I ended up selling that story to TMZ.
Good for you.
And I ended up profiting off the show only because of that, or I would have lost money.
What an asshole!
Yeah. So everyone else has amazing things to say about Screech. I can't believe it.
No, he's the only person I'm glad is dead. I hate him.
Well said.
Yeah.
He charged everybody $20 for a picture at the show, which I thought was tacky. But what really pissed me off was after I paid him, $1,500 or whatever, gave him an extra $70 for drinking my chewing tobacco spit. I asked if I could have a picture with him, and he took it. And then he held his hand out. He wanted $20 more.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Where did he come up with 70? How did he come up with 70? That's a weird.
I think actually he might have asked for 100. I might have talked him down a little bit.
Smart. Wow.
Hughezy. Where can people find Hughezy Entertainment?
On YouTube. It's a fantastic podcast that features multiple episodes with these Jews here. All kinds of woke entertainment. And Karl, if you check your DM on Twitter, I sent you a photograph of my gout foot if you would like to share it with Earl and Ricky. It's disgusting, but it's also...
Oh, you really do have gout?
Oh,
of course he does.
That wasn't
He's an alcoholic. Of course.
Yeah, so it's been a terrible month.
Holy shit.
Exactly.
All right.
Let me see that thing.
All right, hold on. Let me pop it up here.
Hey, no.
It's gonna happen. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. You got me a nice high res image of it too for us.
Great. That we get high res of.
Yep.
Also, at the Hughezy on Twitter and Instagram.
And you should start a GoFundMe.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
Which one has gout?
Well,
dude,
Wow.
did you talk to Joey C about this? Did he give you some pointers?
Ray DeVito.
Oh, right. Ray DeVito
has
also
helped
had
me.
gout. That's right.
So
He has gout too?
I've stopped doxing Ray for a couple of weeks.
That's nice of you.
Yeah, thank you.
So you think you overdid it over the holidays then?
Oh, fuck yeah.
It looks like you photoshopped a picture of Earl's foot onto yours.
Yeah.
Almost, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that
Man,
is
that's
dog
a-
shit.
That's a friggin' that's
can't-
a runaway slave foot.
Well,
You have
yeah,
to,
look.
You have to buy a shoe size 3 times the size of what you
Oh,
normally
man,
wear.
Hey, on the good foot, when did your big toe and the other toe break up? What the fuck happened there?
They're not on speaking terms.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, I've had to wear flip flops in public, which is humiliating, but also
Oh,
I don't
man.
give a fuck about other people.
And of course, Shuli from the Shuli Network and the Uncle Rico Show. What are you guys doing tonight? You got a show tonight?
Yeah, we got Trainables tonight, 8 o'clock on TSN. And Ricky, it was a pleasure to meet you, man. And
You as well,
Great
Shuli.
job. Great job.
Been a fan
Yeah,
for a
Ricky.
long time.
You're
Hopefully
fantastic.
we
Thanks for
can
coming
we
on.
can work together soon one day and have the internet hate us. So I
We
look
can
forward.
make that happen. Yeah.
Stewie felt $10 as a black comedian shrugging his shoulders about Pryor talking about mob-owned clubs.
Yeah, he doesn't want to get involved. Don't you understand?
I don't know what he thought I was supposed to react to that.
Yeah, I
that
don't know
was.
either.
Richard Pryor talks about it.
Yeah.
You know, and but just so he needs to know, I don't know everything about every black person. I'm trying to keep up.
Right.
All right. I'm
Big
still, like
Daddy
I said
Dodo.
earlier, I'm still answering mail about the whole Kendrick Lamar halftime thing. So,
Whose side are you on of that? Drake or what do you got?
listen, no, you know what? I don't give it. First of all, I'm an old school guy. I'm an old guy. I like rap where I could hear what they're saying. You know, if your girl starts acting up, then you take her friend.
You went
know,
back to the
that kind of
first ever
stuff.
rap song. I was wondering how far back you were going to go.
I mean,
He went to
that's-
1978.
that voice stuff that mattered to me, and I don't give a crap if Drake and Kendrick Lamar get in the same car and drive off a cliff. I don't care.
If I said that, that'd be a problem. Big Daddy Dodo says, does Ricky have a good James Gandolfini story?
He never had the makings of a varsity athlete, and he died at the end of the sprint.
Kills me to say VTL was right. We need John back.
Vince definitely needs him back. He's losing his mind.
Was EDF excited that his brother Sterling made the Hall of Fame?
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I was excited because if you've ever seen the other brothers' acceptance speech, do you ever see that one?
Yeah.
Where it talks about it. That, I mean, gee whiz, you know.
Yeah.
I like that you answer these questions honestly.
I know.
You're like,
Right.
yeah, good for shit. It's great.
Yeah.
5 guests, 1 comic is too many for show. Flow is off. When we start getting critiques, we know who that is.
Yeah. Do a show with your hat off. Then give me
right.
some advice.
Jack Sampson, is KB slightly more Irish than usual, like 10%?
Well, that's the thing. Kevin Brennan isn't actually Irish. He's known as a retarded American.
That's
true. We don't accept Irish Americans. All fake.
Wow, EDR is disappearing on us. We got to wrap this stuff up. Stewie felt $5 says,
Oh,
not once
man,
I
why
see
you gotta
the...
say that? Hold on.
No, you're fine. You're
Hold on,
fine.
I'm going to turn the light on. I was
Not once I see the Irish guy.
Earl, put something on the light bill. You ain't got to pay the whole thing. Just put something on it, dog.
That's not even better.
No, it's not. Now you're backlit.
Now it looks like a
problem
police
is you guys are too
helicopter.
pale.
Now it looks like the police helicopter searching for you.
It looks like, you look like my shadow.
Should I put my red light back in?
Not once I see the Irish guy drink. So that's how he looks naturally? Yeah, he's not even drunk right now, I don't think.
I'm on good painkillers, if that helps.
Yeah.
Look at Big Daddy Dodo already has your photo as his avatar. Your foot looks like KB.
Dodo works fast.
Well
man.
done. Andrew Kelso. Karl, ask Drew about Screech. Him and Mark have stories. Hey, Shuli, everyone else, great show.
Hey, Andrew.
Yeah, I know that they have beef with Screech.
Mm.
Iso Selme, you be skipping my super chat. That be ramen noodles.
Cool. Guess nothing to work on today, huh, Vince? All right.
Who are these.coms where you want to go? Patreon.com/Who Are These Podcasts. We do 2 bonus shows every single month. You can also become a member on this channel right here. Gift a membership. Become a member. You get to see WTP live. We're doing a show Wednesday with Adam Bush, 5:30 Eastern time. Tune in for that. Anything else that we need to get to, guys?
There actually was a second ESO cellmate super chat just a little bit up above Stewie Felt.
Oh, there is? Did I miss it?
Yeah, up above the $10 one by Stewie Felt.
See it.
Oh, yeah, I see it. I can read it if you want.
Yeah, go read it. I don't see it in mine.
Hold on, I'll do it.
I love my new bitch. She be good.
Thank you. That's
All
all
right. Everyone got their money's worth today. Happy days. All right. Well, guys, Ricky, again, thanks for coming on. Don't be a stranger.
Thank you for having me.
EDR, love you, buddy. Hughezy, you were here. Sorry about your foot. Shuli, great to see you. We got a big announcement coming soon.
Yes, in the next 24 to 48 hours, we will have an official announcement on DabbleCon 3, ladies and gentlemen.
Very excited about that.
Shuli, I don't know if this matters to anybody else, but I did catch you mention the phrase the other day, a young Danny Kaye, which had me rolling on the floor.
Thank you.
That was good to hear.
I appreciate that.
So let's stop complimenting Shuli. All right, that's enough.
Point, Dabble Point. A Stuttering